Sup, gamers? It is your boy, Patrick King Minion Demon, and today we are going to do another Ask Me Anything for this week, along with covering Carlos Maza, censorship, and Muslims, and Iceborne. We're going to go through a lot. So, let's get started. Would you rather listen to Billy No Talent or a autistic screaming in the mic because he was RDM'd? Now, I don't know what the term RDM means, so I had to look it up. Whenever I thought of the term RDM, I thought of something relating to role-playing. So the first thing I think of is the second definition, and it's when a player kills you with no incentive or reason in a game of roleplay. Let's say Dungeons and Dragons, like randomly getting rid of your character, making you have a quote-unquote autistic fit. Either way, I would definitely deal with an autistic screaming in the mic, because there's nothing more I can relate to than autism. Would you rather listen to my music or me autistically screeching to the tone of Dancin' by Aaron Smith? Considering we've both hung out and we've both autistically screeched about random shit, I'd rather just listen to your music, but that's just my opinion. What is your favorite non-gunpowder historical weapon? My personal favorite is the Beck de Corbin polearm. I don't know the exact name of the historical weapon, but I'm a huge fan of the halberd. Halberd, however it's pronounced. I just like it because it's literally an axe, but longer. It low-key, like, whenever I thought of halberds, I thought of like the 1300s, where like Germans would use them, along with RuneScape. I remember having a rune halberd back in the day. Shit was so cash. Here's a whole video on its own. What's your least favorite drug experience? That is super easy. That would be meth, and that's because it's a shitty overrated drug. As a guy who did it 5 times, it just makes you feel like a zombie. I'd rather do weed, acid, shrooms, or any other psychedelics that fries my brain, because in the end, the only thing I care about is speaking my inner thoughts and opinions, and people disguise that as racism or hatred or hate speech, when in actuality it's just free speech. When you've experienced a lot of shit and you have to take drugs to cope, it messes with your head. It makes you think differently, but it also allows you to see things from both sides instead of just one. But when you try and see things on both sides, that one particular side doesn't like that, and they'll try and suppress it, perhaps negate you and silence you. But in the end, meth is a bad drug. Don't do drugs, kids. Do you think the Switch could still get an exclusive Monster Hunter? Also, favorite monster? Yeah, I think we'll get Monster Hunter Victory next year for the Switch, because I know for a fact people will get tired of Generations Ultimate once they've gotten all the talismans they need, and when nostalgia starts running out of their asshole. My favorite monster, though, will always be Double Joe, Sideus, and Atalka. Like, I always like the designs for their armor. The weapons are cool, and I love purple sharpness. If you could have one monster from World come to the next Monster Hunter, who could it be? I mean, that's a really confusing question, because we're currently in 5th gen, and 5th gen's not going to end anytime soon. Like, just because Iceborne got announced doesn't mean they're going to just scrape 5th gen. They're going to utilize this engine for whatever it has. And in all honesty, I kind of hope they just bring back monsters that haven't appeared ever since 3rd and 4th gen. Like, Shingarin should definitely come back, but that's not really a monster from World, is it? Yeah. Devil Joe then. Because, you know, Devil Joe always gets nerfed in every single damn generation. Pork? Oh yes, pork is great. Pork is not haram at all. but the best kind of pork would have to be those Johnsonville pork sausages that you use as brats. Shit is delish. How did Monster Hunter Hell begin? What content creators, if you're allowed to say, are associated with Monster Hunter Hell? I mean more than just YouTube content creators or streamers. Did all the DC come out for Monster Hunter Gen U, or are we missing Shonen Jump content again? What rhythm games do you enjoy? Monster Hunter Hell probably began around 2011 because it was a legit carbon copycat of Melee Hell, and the first Monster Hunter Hell was created by a dude named Lance Pearson. He is no longer associated with the group because he's an autistic spurg who doesn't really think for himself. Whenever he has problems, he just attacks his own friends, doesn't believe in criticism or taking advice. Monster Hunter Hell 1 began as just a really shitty Melee ripoff. Then it got deleted. Then Nasser, who was admin at the time, he recreated it, admin a bunch of people like his friends, along with his quote-unquote girlfriend Hunter, who wasn't a girl. He was what I consider a mentally ill tranny, pretending to be a girl, so it could disguise and hide Nasser's closeted homosexual Muslim relationship in the public. But yeah, like Nasser, Lance, Marquise, Sander, Hunter, Connor, me, Mario, Alvar. There were too many people. Too many people for Monster Hunter Hell 2. It was too social justice warrior-y. Nasser couldn't take criticism, so Alvar and Mario got tired of him and took the group for themselves, recreated to the third one, and we are here now. As for people that are content creators and associate themselves with Monster Hunter Hell, that's all up to them, because a lot of people like smearing the group, but it's whatever, because it's a shitposting group, it's a hell group. It's there to post about Monster Hunter, to shitpost about Monster Hunter. Yeah, it's a great group, and people who hate it are legitimate dipshits who just lurk. As for the DLC coming out in Monster Hunter Gen U, we may be missing it. I only played Generations Ultimate like on a bi-weekly basis because I like working. There's missing content than missing content. As for rhythm games, I mainly play Dance Dance Revolution, and I mainly play Bimani stuff. I get to do that whenever I go to Round 1 or go to a convention where Tokyo Attack is having a shitload of their games. Speaking of which, support Tokyo Attack, because they bring a lot of games to conventions. Perhaps conventions in your state. What sources of information would you recommend when looking up info on Monster Hunter? Kira and Nico. It's that simple. Along with Monster Hunter Hell itself, because there's nothing better than answering someone's really simplistic question by telling them to Google it. My granddad died and they're having a funeral and everything. I'm not in my country right now as I'm studying abroad. I really can't focus on final exams for my degree program, which is this week. I'm just procrastinating because I can't help but think about it. Can't focus at all. Should I just fuck all, go back home to my country, or should I just force myself to make it work? I'm just wallowing in my room for the 2 whole days under pretext of studying, but I can't do shit. I would just try and contact your family, see if you want to go back and spend time with them. Otherwise, if they want you just to focus on final exams, I would just get that done, and you can mourn later. I am very sorry for your loss. Losing a family member is very rough, but don't let it eat you, because that is what the negativity in life wants you to do. Just focus on your life and focus on the future that you want to choose for yourself and live. So all in all, it's up to you, dude. It's your life. If you want to see your family and go back to your country, do it. If you want to force yourself to just get final exams done for your program, do it. Do what will benefit your life. Don't do anything that will just benefit other people, because other people will just walk into your life and then discard you immediately after your usefulness is done. I wish you the best of luck on your path, though. What do you think of this dog? I think it's a pretty cute dog. I think it's a Shiba Inu. Inus are pretty cute, not gonna lie. They seem like very lovely dog breeds. Do you hate PETA? If so, what's the thing you hate most about them? For me, it's the fact that they preach about not killing animals, and if you're not vegan, you're a horrible person, while having an obscenely high kill rate at their animal shelters. Last I saw, it was something like 72% in 2018, but it has risen up to 91% in previous years. Well, I actually want to see if that's correct or not. PETA does obscene kill count percentage. The reason behind why they kill is kind of fucked up morally. Why does PETA kill cats and dogs by the thousands instead of finding them homes? Simply, PETA does not believe in pet ownership. Ingrid Newkirk has called pet ownership an abysmal situation. She further elaborates on her goal for destroying the human-pet bond. People want toys, they should buy inanimate objects. If they want companionship, they should seek it with their own kind. In the end, I think it would be lovely if we stopped this whole notion of pets altogether, she had said. Wow. That's kind of at a loss for words with that one. That's pretty fucked up. Like how can you justify killing animals? That's like trying to justify the furry community and how the higher-ups are legitimate zoophiles or people who work on Discord. There's no reasoning with these kinds of people, and PETA should forever be smeared and destroyed. However, more than likely won't be the case because it's funded by the establishment. Next and final question. What are your thoughts on this man? The man who pretty much designed all the details for World. You know, I used to have like a hate boner for him, like I would have a hate boner for Konami, but then I just eventually got over it because I realized that whenever I'm playing Monster Hunter, I don't really care about the weapon designs. I care about killing monsters as fast as possible and talking to people that I play with, because playing alone is boring as shit now. And if I want to play a game alone, I'd play God of War or some other single player game. But yeah, like at first I really got tired of the boring weapon designs. Then I realized Capcom could just literally take all the artists that participated in that contest and just put them in the game. I don't know why they can't just do that instead of just have this guy around and design all the weapons. I low-key hope for Iceborne the final G rank, master rank weapon designs are good. I really hope so, for the sake of Capcom and not having any contrarians bitch about their game over and over. But I really hope they get a new guy next time. Speaking of Iceborne, let's talk about how fucking awesome the changes and new additions have become. Like recently I've really enjoyed Clutch Claw mechanic. Like literally just using it to get onto a monster and attack it via combo. Very, very interesting and innovative. Reminds me of Lost Planet in a sense. One thing I hope they do is add underwater combat, because I know this is Iceborne and it's focusing on the return of ice and snow and all that lovely hot drinks. But imagine using the claw underwater, like just a Lagia Cruise Plesioth swimming. You shoot it in the water, you start lining up to the monster, swimming while the water's like rushing towards you with the monster at the same time. I don't know how to word it correctly, but in my mind it sounds really cool. I hope they add underwater combat back. Because anyone who bitched about underwater combat is a huge fucking pussy and needs to get good at Monster Hunter and stop sucking at getting killed in arch-tempered monster quests. But a new trailer should be revealed, hopefully next week or the 19th. We should get another one soon in June. I mean, they're going to be hyping up this game. I already know it's going to be good because it's Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter doesn't suck like most games, but the mainstream gamers want to just criticize it and compare it to other games, and it just lets me know how stupid and ignorant they are. But yeah, I'm excited for Iceborne. There's one thing I'm not excited for: the mass production of censorship. That is a huge problem. And one of the pawns used for promoting censorship once again on the internet via YouTube would go by the name of a man called Carlos Maza. Now, if you're not familiar with this man, it's okay. I really wish I didn't know about him, because he's what I would consider a degenerate, but nobody looks into his actual informative notes. All they see is a twink just spouting how the LGBT are not protected, despite not being really a protected class anymore. They shouldn't be protected. Like, they've gained a lot of rights over the years as an LGBT advocate. Like, they're able to say what they want. However, the vocal minority kind of overshadows what they say. And Carlos Maza is that vocal minority, because not only does he work for Vox, aka the mainstream media website known for just smearing YouTubers like PewDiePie, and also censoring smaller YouTube channels like Memology 101, I kind of see where the relationship lies. Because YouTube does not care about activists that would rather defend what Carlos Maza is attacking. Because Carlos Maza targeted a dude by the name of Steven Crowder, and I've heard of him from his Change My Mind videos. And he's made some remarks about Carlos Maza, but guess what? It's the internet. And he made a t-shirt that said "Socialism is for figs." Carlos Maza apparently took the term figs for, you know, one of these. This was planned. This was all planned. Like, Carlos Maza went to a Bilderberg conference, and if you're not familiar with Bilderberg, it's basically an annual conference to create dialogue between Europe and North America. And their agenda is to prevent another world war, keep hold of free market and Western capitalism and interests all around the globe. It's basically the New World Order, and the globalists just working together and make sure, should we make another world war appear? Should we cause more problems again? Because everyone blames it on the Jews, and while it would be easy to blame it on the Jews and consider yourself anti-Semite, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm not anti-LGBT, I'm not racist. I just have a lot of opinions, and I'm exercising my First Amendment rights, because that is freedom of speech in America. You're not able to do that almost in any other country, and even if you do it in any other country, including America, you'll get shunned for having different opinions. At this point, it's fine. Like, every conspiracy theory is coming true, and I'm cool with that, because it means I'm not crazy anymore. And I could blame them, but I'd rather just blame the pawns instead. Carlos Maza is the biggest pawn. He is the biggest target and joke for the next YouTube adpocalypse. And the adpocalypse wouldn't affect channels like me, despite it affecting everyone. Because I don't activate my AdSense. I stopped caring about that shit and following the algorithm for the longest time, because I thought to myself, I'm not going to do it on this channel, I'm going to do it on another channel where I can just read news and just talk about my opinion vocally and discreetly at times. But that's for another day. In short, Carlos Maza is a pawn, and nobody should give him any credit for benefiting the LGBT or benefiting YouTube. He is what I would call a common enemy for journalists, because he's a propagandist. He's an activist. He's not a journalist. He does not care about benefiting the world. He only cares about forcing his own agenda and controlling corporations. And he was doing a good job at it until, you know, Google just flat out admit that they support censorship along with YouTube journalism and mainstream media smearing YouTubers as far-right, alt-right, and at that point it's just a meme. Alt-right used to probably have meaning back in 2016, but 2018 and 19 and probably 2020 and the future, it's a smear tactic. It's fear-mongering. They're trying to invoke fear into your mind. And I'm past that, because people are going to keep using these words, these kinds of smearing, to silence people like you and me. As long as we don't advocate violence, unless violence is done onto you in public, then it's okay to speak your mind. It is okay to speak whatever you want to think. Not everyone's going to agree, and that's fine. But you have a right to an opinion. Whether it's right or wrong, we'll know in the end of times. And before I end this video, there's another thing that I want to talk about as well. And that would be how five quote-unquote teenagers were arrested after a homophobic attack on London bus. So around five males attacked this lesbian couple, and like, seeing the photo, it's kind of grim, but I'm just used to seeing that kind of stuff to begin with. And the victims described the group of men, boys, whatever, as hooligans. They would throw money at them to kiss and tell them to get in sexual positions. And once one of the lesbians in the couple tried to deflate the situation, her partner was getting attacked by one of the men, or maybe more of the men. What I find very, very crazy is the fact there's no footage of these men attacking these women, or the fact that the mainstream media, along with the victims themselves, don't describe their attackers at all. So it lets me know that they're Muslim.
There were about 4 young men who were already on the bus. They got up out of their seats and walked over to where we were and started very aggressively harassing us. One of them stayed a couple rows behind and was throwing coins at us. I did not engage with him at all. Initially, Melania was trying to de-escalate the situation. She was, being friendly, but trying to keep them at bay. After I realized that one of them was throwing coins, I stood up and I turned around and addressed him. And after he did not stop throwing coins, I got up out of my seat and I walked back to where he was sitting. Fighting broke out, and I don't know how we got from fighting on the top of the bus down to the lower deck, but in that time frame they took my phone, her bag, and they ran off the bus.
The violence is not only because we are women which are dating each other, it's also because we are women.
There are a lot of people's rights at risk, and people's basic safety is at risk, and so I want people to feel emboldened to stand up to the same people who feel emboldened by the right-wing populism that is, I feel, responsible for the escalation in hate crimes. I want people to take away that they should stand up for themselves and stand up for each other.
Now, when I said this on Facebook, a couple people in my friends list, they got outraged being a part of that shitty outrage culture, and they got mad at the fact that I blamed Muslims as being attackers when it's actually the truth. Unless the story develops, and then I can admit to being wrong. Because the cool thing about being opinionated and having a different viewpoint than everyone else is you're allowed to think what you want. And when the mainstream media and news articles censor particular words or don't add specific names in the titles or in the paragraphs, you gotta look at another article and see if something's mentioned. If nothing's mentioned, you look at another article. Then you realize they're defending the attackers. Or it could be another hoax hate crime. But I really don't think a pair of lesbians, despite them admitting on this video that it is far-right populist bullshit that is why these men attacked her. It's totally not because they're radical Muslims who aka are followers of Islam and just despise the LGBT. It's totally not that at all. And the fact that people will use personal anecdotes to defend Muslims is downright brainwashing, because you're supporting the globalist propaganda. Their whole fucking mindset of being accepting of Muslims and allowing them to just beat women. You're cool with that, and I'm not. And I call out the religion and the followers, because in the end, Islam is not a religion. It's not a religion of peace. It is a dangerous ideology disguised as a weapon to destroy Western civilization. And a lot of people will just consider these words that I just said hate or racist. Muslims aren't a race. And if you try and say that they are, you're probably a liberal who's trying to project your racism onto me. I'm getting help for what I deal with. Are you? Let me know in the comments below. And speaking of comments, I would also like you to answer this question. Do you think the LGBT is comparable to the KKK? I asked this in my Discord before finishing up this video, and they left some really solid responses. So I'd like to hear your opinion as a fellow advocate LGBTs supporter. Because the LGBT aren't the only ones who matter. It's also our fellow heterosexuals. Because I am not a bigot. I am a supporting black man who loves Minions, Monster Hunter, and life. Hope you have a wonderful week.